On this week's episode of Garage Talk, I went to Phoenix Raceway last weekend for both races. We'll recap that.
Something did happen in Australia at Albert Park. We talk about that.
And I can't say I'm jealous of Oscar Piastri, but we also dropped the next season of Wednesday Night Dash's schedule. We'll talk about that and more right now. Welcome to an all new episode of FR Racing's Garage Talk. I'm DJ Flook.
I'm Erik Richardson.
I got my purchase from over the weekend.
What driver is that for?
Really?
David Malukas ended up on pole.
Yeah, he had a good weekend. He had a bad green flag stop where he stalled it out, and that's kind of where he dropped off. But still, he worked his way back to the podium.
That's great for him.
The best part though is when they were lining up on the podium, and they had the Good Ranchers 250, and they had the owner of Good Ranchers, and he's carrying like the pieces of steak that were cut, and David's like, "Can I take a piece?" Did you see that?
I didn't.
He had a tray of like sliced. It was like steak that was like sliced into like thin pieces, and he was handing the trophy and showing off the plate of steak at the same time. The sponsor, and Dave, Maluk is like, "Hey, can I?" And like, yeah, and he grabbed a piece. He's like, right on the podium, and then they're like trying to do the photo, and he's like trying to finish eating, and he's like,
That's awesome. They need that.
And so he's lifting the trophy up as he's like trying to swallow the steak.
Makes for a great photo op.
It was hilarious. Yeah, I mean that alone right there probably made it worth it for the sponsor to come back.
Speaking of that race, you were there.
I was.
How was it being on site?
Well, so I was looking at the clock Saturday morning. I knew we were going to cut it close. I wasn't sure how close, though. Because my kids had their first ice skating lesson at the rink like 10 minutes from our house on Saturday. I'm like, I can't skip that. So I said, don't screw around. Get the skates off. Go to the bathroom. We're going right to the car. We're gone. And we jumped on the highway. We got on I-10. And then there was a wreck on I-10.
Oh.
And we got to our seats by lap 3. So missed the start.
Terrible.
No, but then they were under caution already, so it's like I didn't really miss. I missed the green flag, which I was kind of mad about, but I got there, stayed for the whole race, saw the end. We were walking through the shops at the end where I got my shirt, and one of my kids, when Kyle Larson had his own merch hauler this time. And, he's the champ. And so my kid went up to get a new Larson shirt because she's starting to outgrow the one she has. And gets, like, the 2-time champion. And it's this, like, obnoxious pink and green tie-dye shirt. Most obnoxious thing ever. But then his part of his, like, half of his front bumper is hanging from the hauler for sale. And she's like, is that his car? And I said, yeah, he used that in some race. I don't know what one. And I'm looking at it, it's like right here. So I'm looking at the sticker, and it didn't say which, it had the Hendrick COA, and signed by somebody at Hendrick saying, yeah, this was race used, but it didn't say which race it was. Then I saw the price tag for half of the front fender. Any guesses?
Half of the front fender, like the nose piece and...
Yeah, it was like it was like the front corner of the front bumper, basically, like maybe about half of it.
So I think you're probably still looking at least $1,300.
Oh, no, it wasn't that bad.
Okay. I've seen them up there, maybe the full ones for like $1,500.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't that bad.
$600-700?
It was $500.
Okay.
And I see the price tag. I'm like, no, we're not getting that. No, I joked about after the race on Sunday that I would buy one of the race used tires.
I still want a tire at some point. I want to make it a table.
Yeah, I mean, I have my F1 table that I've had since sixth grade. It's starting to deteriorate a little bit, but it's a 1989, 1990-ish F1 tire that was used in a test event. And this guy my dad knew was like a guest of one of the sponsors, and they shipped him back. I think it was at Silverstone, and they gave him a set of the tires that they used at the test, and they shipped it back to the U.S. and he had them in his attic. So this is probably, I don't know what year would we have been in sixth grade, around 96,
I don't
97.
even know how old we'd be at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's probably pretty close to that.
yeah. So mid 90s. So these tires are about 5 years old. They were sitting in the guy's attic, and my dad heard that he was trying to get rid of three of them, and he ended up buying one for my birthday that year.
Nice.
And so it's in my garage, and I just went to like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or something and just got a round piece of glass, and I can't have it in the house. I'm not allowed to have it. Was in the basement in my old home in Illinois. I don't have a basement here, so it's in the garage now, which
That's no fun.
no, it's not. But
It's a great
it's
conversation piece if you had it as your
it,
coffee table.
it really is.
Like,
It
wait,
was
is that a tire? Yes, it is.
it was the heck was his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. It was a French driver named Bertrand Gachot, and he is most famous for he won the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1991. He was in Formula One from 1989 to 1995. Was kind of supposed to be kind of a big deal and wasn't. But he was arrested because he punched a cab driver in the UK for
Yeah.
some reason, and he was suspended. And when he was suspended, they let a relative unknown kid fill in for him while he was suspended, by the name of Michael Schumacher.
Yeah, he wasn't very good or anything.
Speaking of that, I saw his son.
Yeah, Mick is running IndyCar.
He was he had a good qualifying run. Yeah, that was
It was what, P4?
V4. Yeah, you had the two Penskes, and then you had Graham Rahal, and then Mick on the second row.
Now, I wasn't able to see a lot other than just like onboard views. How was like the passing and just the overall
Uh,
racing?
I thought it was pretty good. There were, like, I didn't see where I was sitting. I was in that 3 and 4 area where it slows down, and there was some passing that happened there. But I think a lot of it was happening in 1 and 2 because you could see, like Newgarden, after like a green flag stop would come out like 12th. And after about 20, 25 laps on that green flag run, next thing you know, he's moved up like 6 spots. So I mean, it took a little bit, but the green, they had a couple early cautions. Then you had the VK Pillow incident, which there was kind of a gasp in the stands when you see Pillow car going into the wall after VK was coming on the outside up
There
against
were
the wall. And
the outside you can make moves, but it's that wall
they were
comes
getting
up
good
fast.
runs. They were getting good runs on the outside, but it happened with Rasmussen and Will Power. You saw where Power kind of pushed him into the wall, and there was quite a bit of that was going on during the event, where you're kind of like, Pelot said he didn't know that VK was there, so he was kind of throwing his spotter under the bus, I think, a little bit with that comment. But
And I think a lot of it too, the drivers, they're just learning the track because they
yeah,
didn't race this
right.
configuration before.
Yeah, no, and like we went through. There were 5 drivers in the race on Saturday that was there for 2018, And the last time we did this, we forgot Alexander Rossi when we were
Yep.
listing him out. Um, but the ECR cars look really good.
Yeah, Rasmussen was flying.
And even Rossi was working his way up there for a while.
I think watching the onboard and seeing the telemetry, the biggest difference, at least that I saw in comparison to the iRacing, is they were shifting all the way down in fourth gear, even through 1 and 2, where in our race, we'd almost flat out fifth and sixth gear if we wanted to. And then they were really slowing down into fourth gear through that 3-4.
Yeah.
So I could see a big difference coming up, is the racing that we did not mirror the real race at all.
No, and we were also at nighttime. It was also the track temperature was probably the track was pushing 100 degrees easily. I mean, you could feel the heat.
I don't think it would create that big of a difference.
No, but you could feel the heat radiate. I was in row 21, and you could feel the heat radiating off the track from row 21. It was pretty hot.
I hope it goes back, and I think probably iRacing will see an adjustment in the racing now, too, that they have data for it.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And it was good, too. Like, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good event. I thought it was pretty exciting. A lot of drama in it. You know, you saw Will Power get to the front. Malukas was a rocket ship. And Newgarden, I don't know how he made that run to the end. Like, he was in like 7th with like 30 laps to go or something like that. I mean, that wreck, Rasmussen probably would have won that race had that wreck not happened. But overall, it was good. And there was rumors going around at the track that even before the race was over, that they said they want IndyCar, they want to do this again next year, even before the race was over.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw some viewership numbers coming out here today, and I would say overall it was a successful weekend.
I completely agree with you. The fans were engaged. There was, they did a lot of, even during the Indy race, the NASCAR drivers, the Cup drivers, they were done for the day at like 11 o'clock. This race started at 1. They had O'Reilly qualifying. They had Cup qualifying. And then they were done. So, like, Joey Logano's up in the booth. They showed other drivers were in the stands. Chris Buescher had these seat in 1 and 2, or they had these, like, row of seats up against the wall that he was just kicking back and watching these races. And these guys, they don't get these opportunities to do this.
Yeah, they don't get a chance to go watch the IndyCars hardly at all. Because they race so much more.
And Sunday, you had the IndyCar drivers. The teams were sticking around Sunday, and they were working, getting ready for next week in Texas for the Arlington Grand Prix or whatever it's called. So the Indy drivers, actually, a lot of them stuck around on Sunday. There was, the Penske guys did an autograph signing Sunday morning that I missed.
Well, that's cool. Especially like Penske getting the drivers doing crossover stuff. Like Malukas went to the NASCAR driver meeting
and produced a really funny video. Him and Austin Cindric back and forth. That was really, really funny.
They're pretty good. It's funny how he was talking like, this is like a party in here. Well, ours
compared to ours.
No.
And then Malukas like, I'm going to stand up and cheer, and you hear Cindric go, please don't. Just please don't. He's like, they announced to the drivers that Malukas was there. He's like, I'm not standing up. Nobody knows who I am. When he was on the pre-race show, people are gonna know who he is now. Like, if you followed the series, you knew who this kid was, and he had some really good one-liners he dropped on TV, and just that that really enthusiastic personality, and people have known him for years. That's who he is.
One of the worst things that could have happened for him was breaking his hand and getting tossed from the McLaren seat, but then being able to do the broadcasting stuff during the 500 that year.
Yeah,
just did so much, even for his career.
Right, and then he got a pretty good ride out of the deal, an audition, and now he's driving a Penske car. So
yeah, I mean, how do you go from getting into McLaren, get fired because you broke your hand, to broadcasting, to get in with Meyershank, then you end up this year, you're running
AJ.
Penske.
Well, then he was with AJ,
Yeah,
and
AJ
then
Foyt
yeah,
last
and then
year.
now he's driving the 12 car. Yeah, they booted Will Power for him, so it's like, you know, he clearly has talent on the ovals, and he looked pretty solid at St. Petersburg. And it's just like if they can refine that talent, he's gonna win a lot of races in that car.
So we
And
call a prediction now, win at Gateway.
yeah,
It seems
probably.
like it doesn't matter what car he runs in, he's at the front there.
He's probably Gateway will be his first win. But you've got a young driver, you've got a very charismatic driver, you've got a driver with just this just infectious, enthusiastic personality who has talent, and it's like Penske was smart to grab him like they did. And it's like if they let him not, don't do the corporate Penske thing, but let him be himself, that you're going to get a lot out of him, I think. And just his limited time on TV this weekend showed what he's capable of, what it's capable of for the series. And a lot of people are really excited for him, really happy for him getting the pole, and got a good ovation from the crowd. And
That's cool.
He's working his way to be top fan favorite if he isn't already.
Overall, is such a great pairing.
It was.
To do.
It really was. The drivers loved it. There was the comments from Pato about being second fiddle, but it's like everybody loved it. The drivers loved it. Pelot was disappointed about the wreck, but the drivers generally came away pretty happy. The NASCAR drivers got to watch and enjoy it. Even when the race was going on, they were doing stuff out in the midway outside of the concourse, and it's like, if the kids didn't want to sit, you could go. There was a bit for like 30 minutes where you could go play with Legos with Noah Gragson if you wanted to. And
no matter what, it's just the way it is. If you were at a different track, you're going to play second fiddle.
Yeah.
You go to the same track, you play second fiddle, but look at how many more tens of thousands of fans.
Yeah. Oh, they did so much good for the
looked
series.
At it,
this
and how many thousands do you now pick up?
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what the ratings for the race this weekend is. And it's good that they're going back to back. Like, you don't have to wait long for the next race. There's no month-long break. They're going right into this brand new race in Arlington, Texas, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that was hurting IndyCar for so long. You do a race and have minimal coverage, and then, where's IndyCar? Oh, they're off for a month.
And then they're off in August. I heard something that they're actually looking at extending the season into the fall further next year and using it to lead into NFL games.
It'd be great.
On Fox.
They need to find a way to add I think they still need to add about 2 more races.
Yeah.
I think they just have to hit 20. Now, financially, could be constrained.
Go back to Texas. Go back to Texas.
Oh, it'd be such a great race.
Now it would be, yeah.
And I saw a post on social media of tossing out different track ideas where they could do more of these double headers, and like New Hampshire was tossed out. Chicagoland would be so amazing.
Oh, I would love that.
Because that's been some of the best racing that we've seen in IndyCar.
Oh, easily. Some of the closest finishes ever happened on that track. So after the race ended on Saturday, we're in the car, and quite a few people actually left after the Indy race and didn't stick around for the O'Reilly. I was a little surprised. I said, we'll have it easy out because there's another race in an hour and a half. And no, I was wrong. Quite a few people actually left after the Indy race was over. But we're in line getting out, and it took us an extra probably 20 minutes just to clear the track grounds. Just fighting our way out the door, and they're letting the VIP parking out. And so we get up to the VIP lot. I told you this. But we get up to where the VIP lot is, and this giant white Chevy SUV pulls up to exit, and they're kind of inching out. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to let this guy go. Like, I don't want to cause a wreck. And he pulls out, looks over, and waves thank you to me. And I'm like, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.? it was Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And I'm like, maybe I should let the next person out. Give a little buffer. But I said, I'm like, yeah, kids, that guy's going to be in the race tomorrow, the one in the big white SUV in front of us. But I'm like, that's Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
That's awesome.
And so, but the funny thing is, the Arizona drivers are notoriously bad. And I don't know. It's just
Florida.
Well, I mean, you've got a bunch of old people. It's just there's so many poor decisions. Like, oh, I'm gonna pull out in front of traffic. Like that was ill-advised.
Oh, yeah, I've driven Phoenix traffic. It's a nightmare at times.
It's so stupid at times. Like I lived in Chicago for a decade. I'm from Indiana, and I lived in Chicago for a decade, and both of those places make Phoenix look like. It's just the driving here is just atrocious.
In Indiana, driving is cringe to begin with.
Yeah, and they make Phoenix look like a driving school, or Indiana look like a driving school. But so we're leaving, and I said, yeah, that's a NASCAR driver in the car in front of us, and so I'm following him down Avondale Boulevard out of the track, and she goes, you could tell this guy like is a professional because he's not tailgating people. He's accelerating very smoothly in the car. It's like you can tell this guy drives. He's not like everybody else out here
that thinks they're.
Or you gotta punch it and tailgate and then brake late. It's like, good God. But moving on to Sunday. So we get there and our first highlight of the day or low light of the day is in the parking lot. I park and people are coming through the dirt lot and I'm walking, like cars are stopped, so I walk in between these two pickup trucks and I glance out my right eye and the truck right here starts backing up and I'm like, oh shit, and like leap out of the way. I was like this close to getting hit by the truck and I'm just like, I'm like, what are you doing? And I look and I realized this idiot who almost backed into me, like me on foot, this dope in front of him in a giant pickup truck pulled into park and screwed up his park job. So he just throws it into reverse and almost backs into this truck. So then he throws it into reverse and almost hits me, like me on foot. And I'm just like, what the? And I said to my kids, like, you know what I tell you about stop, you don't act like idiots in parking lots when we're walking through there? That is why.
That's where they would hopefully be lucky that I don't have a beer bottle or can in my hand because it'd be.
I should have just like I should have just like fallen over and grabbed my shoulder, like, oh, I'm gonna call that injury lawyer billboard I see over there. Like, oh, you're gonna pay for this, you bastard. But anyway, so we get inside the track, we head into the infield like we typically do for the cup races, and I'm standing next to this guy, and I didn't really look at him. I just kind of saw his shirt out of the corner of my eye, and I didn't really look at him. And I'm standing there for like a minute or two. And then I go move on, and I later realized that man I was standing next to for 2 minutes was Patrick Warburton. So for those who don't know the name, he's the voice of Joe Swanson on Family Guy for a long time. He very distinctive. You know his voice. He was in Zootopia 2 most recently. He was David Putty on Seinfeld. He was in Rules of Engagement, which was on for a handful of years on CBS with David Spade. And
that's where you just needed him to have started talking or something like.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, why couldn't he have just said something and then the voice would have clicked? My kids know him as. I know that. My kids know him as the. On the pre-ride safety video on Soaring at California Adventure, he's the flight attendant giving the safety briefing.
Nice.
He's like, hello, I'm Patrick. It's my bad impersonation. But I'm just like, I was standing next to this guy who I think is just one of the funniest people, just deadpan funniest people. Didn't make the connection, didn't say a word, and I'm kicking myself for that. So then, as I continue to name drop celebrities here,
you get to name that. I can say, at Daytona, I walked by Bart Simpson.
Bart Simpson.
I recognize him, though.
I mean, yeah, considering he was, what, 8 feet tall or something?
He's actually about my height.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He looked huge on TV. So we're standing in the pit road. They're doing driver introductions, and we're just seeing drivers walk by. And Denny Hamlin comes walking by. And as he comes up, this older guy standing behind me just goes, "Boo!" And Denny just kind of looks over and just kind of grins at him, and then just keeps on walking.
You see me pictures, he's walking by, hey, it's that podcaster guy.
It's that podcaster guy. Daniel Suarez walked by. Kyle Larson was holding his kid, and he walked by. I was waiting because I wanted to try to get my kid to get a picture with Larson, but he had his kid, and it was, the greatest way to get fans to leave you alone is carry a young child with you as you walk.
Yeah, that's why they always have their kids around.
Yeah, they're not going to bother you then. So then we're standing there. We're getting ready to leave the track to go up to the stands before the race. And this woman with a small entourage comes walking by. And I kind of turn my head as she walks by. I look at her. She looks at me. And I'm like, was that Gayle King? And I turn to my wife. I go, was that Gayle King? And she goes, who's Gayle King? And, which is probably the correct answer. I'm like, Gayle King, that's Oprah's BFF. Yeah. It was Gayle King. She was there. It hit the news on Monday or Tuesday, but she works for CBS this morning or whatever their morning show is called. And she was there doing a story on NASCAR, primarily on 2311. So she was hanging out with Bubba, with Tyler Reddick on his run, the lawsuit. They interviewed Michael Jordan. The rapper Fat Joe was there too, which I did see Fat Joe. I'm like Fat Joe. It was one of those I didn't recognize him, and I heard someone say, "That's Fat Joe." I'm like, "Wait, I know who Fat Joe is."
Wait, yeah, that is.
I wouldn't be able to just pick him out on the street, but someone says it, I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay." Didn't see MJ though; he was hiding.
I'm sure he hides a lot.
Yeah, well, he doesn't do pictures. He's not a big fan-friendly guy. He kind of does his own thing. Whatever.
But apparently it's working. He's done it his whole career, and he's built an empire.
I mean, the man has his own brand that's arguably worth more than probably Adidas and Puma and Reebok and all those. It's like the Jordan brand's its own. I mean, it's Nike started the Jordan brand, but it's its own thing now, isn't it? Like Nike still does it, but Jordan is Jordan.
Yeah, it's Jordan brand.
The big thing is you get the people with the LeBron versus Jordan arguments, which I think are absurd. And I said, number one, the reason why LeBron will never come close to sniffing Michael Jordan is, number one, you're never going to see a LeBron James soccer jersey. You're not going to see a LeBron James, college football jersey. You have the NBA teams wearing the Jordan Jumpman City Connect jerseys on top of that. You're not seeing that. That's not happening. Not in a large scale like that. No way.
And for that whole debate, I'm going to pull the Richard Petty. It's different eras. It's just so hard to compare.
Harder. I mean, it was arguably harder in the Jordan era.
They were mugging each other.
Yeah.
You got into the lane, you were going to get hammered.
You look at Jordan versus those Pistons teams in the early 90s, and you've got Bill Laimbeer just throwing his forearm in your face.
And it's just regular fouls.
Yeah,
nowadays,
today, that would be like double tech.
Ejected.
Yeah, those are flagrant 2 right there. That's not happening anymore. But you'd see these clips of the Pistons playing the Celtics, and you'd see Larry Bird going up for a layup or whatever and just getting clotheslined by somebody. And
just nature of the game is so much different. Back then, if you saw a team score 100 points, they were going crazy that night. Where nowadays you see teams, oh wow, you scored 110? Really? Because you got teams putting up 146.
Last night we saw that guy from the Heat. What did he score? 83 or something like that?
Bam Adebayo.
Adebayo, that's right. I couldn't think of his last name until you said that, but he 83 points.
There's some question marks about how they were like trying to foul the Wizards so they could get the ball back, and
He did the photo at the end where he wrote 83 on the piece of paper, like Wilt did. I think the craziest thing about the 100-point game, there is no footage of it whatsoever. Like, this could have been completely made up, and we never know. Like, you would only need a handful of people to get in on the lie, and this thing would, I mean, you know, I'm kind of tinfoil hatting here, but it would not take much for this to be like, yeah, he scored 100 points by himself the other night. And you never know.
Well, we got the picture of it.
Well, you got the picture of him holding up 100 on a
Exactly.
piece of paper. That's it. That is unreal. I mean, he had the skill to do it, for sure.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about that. Yeah. Oh, wow. So we started with the high. Let's go to the low. How about that Formula One race?
I don't even know where to start with that thing.
What the hell was that?
Like, I'll give them credit. There was at least passing, and it wasn't a parade.
Did you see the Ganassi kind of social media jab at Formula One?
Yeah.
It's like, we don't downshift on straights. And
What's super clipping?
super clipping. The crazy, I mean, it got off to a crazy start with Max going for his first lap and then just locking up his rear.
Didn't they find it was like a computer issue or something?
Well, they asked him on Sunday what happened. He's like, it'll take too long to explain, and it'd be too boring to explain to you on TV.
Like, there was something like, it wasn't a driver error. It was a car failure.
Failure. Yeah, it was a failure. Like, he doesn't do stuff like that. And you have Oscar totaling his car, going to the grid. His home race. Arguably, well, you have, if it wasn't for Colapinto's insane reflexes, he would have murdered Liam Lawson on that start procedure.
You would have had at least, definitely 2 cars involved, probably a few more.
Liam Lawson was a sitting duck, and I don't know how he avoided him. Oh yeah, they didn't even, like, the 5th light didn't even come on.
Like,
it was
the
off
5th
before.
light flashed, and it was off.
Like, what was that?
Then you get the Colapinto and go.
They call Pinto and go.
No idea what that penalty was. I would assume a stop and go.
Yeah, like, somebody on the graphics team screwed that up. The Colapinto and go.
Yeah, you get the passing, but it's all battery. Like, you're not going to pass a car without using battery.
Yeah, Ferrari screwing up the strategy again. What's new?
Lewis, why did we not do different strategies?
And why didn't one of us stop there? Like, you know,
that was not our plan.
Well, Max's line on, what was it, Drive to Survive, where he's like, "Oh, I like it, drive for Ferrari to the strategy." Well, again, is it Valtteri Bottas traditions?
I like how you get Formula One tooting their horn, like, look how awesome this race was. Then you have drivers like, eh.
That sucked. I did like the cool down room where you had George, Kimi, and Chaw sitting there, and they show the Colapinto near miss, and they all went, "Whoa!"
I know it's only one race, but I guess we'll give it a few more before we really pass judgment.
Oh, I am passing judgment now. I am report of incident. The Citizen app noted me. There's an incident at our local. It's a car crash. They said the alert was an incident at our local municipal airport. I'm like, and there's a car crash.
Yeah, I think we
Uh,
know what we're going to be seeing this year. I like Max's idea. This isn't Formula E. Let's get back to real engines.
I didn't quite pick. I wasn't fully paying attention. I'm not up to speed on the new everything, all the changes and boost mode and what is the point of those blue lights turning on before the? Did we ever get an explanation on that?
Before the lights out,
Start. Yeah. So it was
it
like they wave the green flag, the blue light comes on,
it's like
and
their
then
time to get their turbos charged up.
oh, is that it? It's just a cue.
Yeah,
It's not like Kmart blue light thing going on, you know.
because there's such that difference from the cars at the front to the back. That the ones in back don't have that time, so it's all about getting that turbo up.
Boy, what a stupid start procedure.
They're trying to cater to the wrong group of people, and it's going to mess with them.
And it's like I, I'm about to like crap on my entire profession here, but you know what? It needs to happen. I think most of you know I'm an engineer by trade. I have a lot of engineer qualities, as you might guess. You can take that, respond however you want. There is so much in all, and it's not just Formula One, but it's like you look at like anything out there today that involves some kind of technology. They get so excited about these engineering developments and these special this and this, you know, this new technology when you just sit back and realize, is that really what your customers want? Like, do I really give a crap that this new iPhone is a millimeter and a half thinner when the stupid thing still won't make it 18 hours without needing charging?
Yeah.
No, I don't care. I will gladly trade a millimeter and a half if you can get me a battery that will last me a full 24 hours with
Yes.
me doing my stuff. Like, I don't care. And I think that we're seeing a lot of this is they're so like innovation, you know, do this, let's do this hybrid, let's do all this turbo. I don't care.
I want
I
the
don't care at all.
V10s
I
that
really
just go
don't care.
screaming down the straightaway back.
I don't care. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, for that, I want to
Oh,
see cars that go out and race and showcase the driver's talent. Not what driver can deploy and charge their battery the most efficient.
I mean, it's turning into a video game.
Pretty much.
It's not. It's a little bit of driving with a little bit of video game mixed in, and it's just like, yeah. It's funny. You look at 30 years ago. You look at. I mean, someone's gonna be like, "Get with the time, you old geezers." But you look at the F1 car from like 30 something years ago, and it's just a round steering wheel. Like there's nothing on it. It's just a round wheel. And now you look at the thing, and the wheel itself costs $20,000.
We need you to go into mode 1, setting B, and choose option 5.
Oh, by the way, while you're braking and getting ready to set up your turn.
That will be our strategy now. Never mind. Box.
Box.
Okay,
No,
Ferrari.
stay out.
Too late.
Oh man, Formula One. So we got Las Vegas this weekend. Did you see NASCAR, the Grand Marshal for the Las Vegas race?
I feel like I have, but I don't remember.
Jonathan Davis,
Yeah, I did see
as in,
that.
yeah, as in the lead singer of Korn, Jonathan Davis. I'm like, that's awesome. I mean, Patrick Warburton was awesome, but hearing Jonathan Davis tell everybody to start their engines, that's going to be must-see TV right there. I hope.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
The other item of note is back to Formula One again. Is Apple TV is now the home of Formula One. They did not publish viewers. The only thing that was published was that they had like an insane number of people download Apple TV this weekend, which you're not surprised. Like you can get a free trial for Apple TV for 7 days or a month or whatever, 3 months.
We'll see if it continues.
Yeah, we'll see if it continues. And but the thing is, like, a lot of it is just repackaged F1 TV into the Apple TV app. And some of I would say some of it's better, some of it's a little kind of clunky. Some people didn't know that you could get what they call the international broadcast, which is the Sky Sports broadcast with Crofty and Martin Brundle most of the time.
I tried to get to it, but I couldn't.
Yeah, you couldn't on the Android phone, but which is weird to me. But on the iPhone, there's a feed section that you can switch to like the driver in-car cameras, and then at the very bottom was the Sky Sports feed.
I'll have to put it on my computer at some point.
Or your TV might have the ability to put Apple TV on there. If you have like a Samsung TV or Vizio or one of the TVs that have like smart apps on it, you more than likely can put Apple TV on there. So let's see here.
Just one other F1 note. Well, you will have to see what happens, but they may just totally scrap the Bahrain and Saudi weekend.
Yeah.
Which, if that happens, they will not race in the entire month of April.
Which is pretty wild, but given what's going on in the region, that's probably the wisest thing to do at the moment.
And they said there's not enough time to be able to relocate to like Imola or anything like that, which is why they're just going to say no race.
There was a talk of maybe using Turkey as a backup facility.
I haven't seen that one, but most recent communications that I've seen were just we won't race.
Let's bring back the South Korean Grand Prix. You always see the, I don't know, was it 2012, 2013? You've probably seen the video where they do the intro for the Grand Prix, and it's to the song Gangnam Style. Ooh. And Nico Rosberg's wearing like a lion mask, and he pulls the mask. It's so stupid.
Hey, song that makes fun of us, essentially.
Rightfully so.
And then we still like the song.
I mean, you got 1 billion views on YouTube for that song. He's still a massive success in Korea, Good for him. Good for Psy.
Psy.
I still remember when Psy was kind of had his moment in the U.S., he was kind of doing the rounds, and he was at a Dodgers game, and he was introduced. He was kind of standing in this area behind home plate where there was no seating. It was just kind of this open, like, concrete there. And they introduced him, and he has these, like, big sunglasses with, like, gems all over it, and it's nighttime. And they introduce him, and he just starts doing one of his, like, crazy dances. And if you look over his shoulder, sitting behind him probably about 10 feet behind him, is the late Tommy Lasorda, the old Dodger manager. And he just has this disgusted look on his face, like, what are
we doing?
what is this? Just find that video and just look behind him at Tommy Lasorda, just looking absolutely disgusted watching him dance.
So going back to Phoenix, we had Blaney win the NASCAR race. Penske winning at Phoenix in NASCAR?
Penske,
no way.
Perfect.
Now, last 8 races. Blaney, fun fact. Last 8 races at Phoenix, how many times has Ryan Blaney finished in the top 2?
5.
It was 6.
Oh, it was close. I could think of like 4 of them off the top of my head.
One is several.
Yeah, including one where he was runner-up to Logano in the 24 championship race.
That's impressive.
Then, yeah, he won. Then he won the championship race the year before. Or he won the year before that Or wait, no. Chastain won that race, and then he was like second. But he was he clinched the title.
That's pretty cool. 8 races, and you've been top 2 6 times.
Did you see Brad Keselowski was talking about it's implied he was talking about Penske. He didn't specifically say Penske, but he was talking about why he hated the old format and he likes the new format for the playoff. Is that he was locked into the playoffs years ago, and some of his teammates weren't. So they're like, yeah, you're getting the slower, the less powerful engine this time for this race because we got to get your teammate locked into the playoffs. So he's like, I'm coming out there, and like the best I can do is like 16th, and I'm just like, what?
Why am I just going to come out and run mid-pack?
Yeah, that was the absolute best he could do. He's just like,
I'm
whatever.
so glad we're done with this win and you're in thing. You need to run everything and score points.
I mean, and it doesn't really you still have like the Harrison Burton moments. Like you could still very well have that. He won't get into the playoffs then. So what?
And I'm sure we're going to end up with people now going, well, it's only going to benefit the big teams. The small teams won't get any money anymore. Figure it out.
Maybe.
You're basically in spec cars now, so you all have the same stuff.
Doesn't feel like it sometimes.
I guess last thing you know, it was a quiet week for us on iRacing, but we did have bottom split.
We did have bottom split.
Bottom split happened. I'm still a little bitter, but you podiumed.
This has been circled on my calendar for a while. I had a bad, I was saving it for the second lap of my qualifying run, and I got loose coming out of 4 and almost turned it sideways and saved it. And even after that, it was still in line with my first lap. I'm like, man, I was going to have a really good second lap that I just totally screwed up here.
I had no warm-up, and I cold turkey qualifying, which is why I put myself in the back.
Yeah, and it's just... there was that early wreck. I just had to work my way through the field, and I'm just like, I'm sitting here like halfway through it, and then I popped the wall coming out of 4 on like lap 18 of 40. And so I'm driving with wheel damage for half the race. And I'm just thinking, like, I've got to like nurse this thing home. I'm like, how is that going to go? So I have wheel damage. My front right is damaged. It's hot. The grip wasn't great to begin with. And oh, by the way, I'm at the end of my tire run, which I never looked up what my tires were at when we were done. So let's.
I was at the back and I was just driving nice and content until lap 7.
Yeah, you got popped. I cruised through that, and I fell behind just because I was having to nurse it a little bit. But then I start like closing the gap on some of the cars ahead of me, and the next thing I know, I'm up against Connor Fuge, who's in front of me, and I start trying to dive low, and I'm like, I can't hold it.
Well, that was my plan, was just to ride along through those like first 15, 20 laps, let some tire wear start to go, and then just start working my way through.
But hey, you know what? Garrett and Robert Lewis,
they put on a battle at the finish.
That was quite a finish. 0.018 between first and second on that. That was
Not
fantastic.
Too
bad. Let's see. All right, let's see what this run looked like. Oh, back to the real quick on the Patrick Warburton. He posted a video of his weekend at Phoenix, and I said, I was standing right next to you for like 2 minutes. I didn't make the connection with you. It was you. I didn't say anything. I'm so mad at myself. And he liked my,
nice.
my comment. All right. Interesting.
You could have driven your tires harder.
I could have driven my tires harder. I mean, I just felt like I was just going to lose it out of 4 every single time.
You hit the wrong line in 4. You were driving pretty sketchy.
How did you know that? I just pulled it up on my screen. How did you know that? My front right was 74, 73, and 82.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then my rear right was 63, 63, 65.
That's where you felt sketchy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's look at some of the. So the race winner. Holy crap! Oh wait, that's practice. Sorry, I was like, "There's no way." Robert's rear right when he finished, 23, 23, 26. Wow.
That tire.
Let's see who else is on here. Yeah, Rohan James, who I caught later on. 51, 50, 54 on his rear right.
And I guess you can pull me up. I saw.
Yeah, you're in
30
here.
laps on there.
I can pull. Run 2. Laps missing. You were 75, 75, 76 on that on that second stint. Let's see who else. Jacob Barker, who I caught as well, chasing him down. John Miles was hyping me up during the broadcast, or he's just like, he said he's doing some tire saving. He's got the long run speed. We're going to keep an eye on him. And he kept checking in, and he's like, here he comes. And, let's see. Jacob was 60, 60, 76 in the rear right. Actually, his rear left, 55, 55, 84. Man.
Interesting run there.
That is an interesting run. JP Jones was also on here. Let's take a look at his. Oh, he was in a wreck and had to split it, so that's not gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I tried to stay out, but ended up with damage, and it just wasn't running.
But yeah, I'm happy about that. The next one I have, so we got Michigan coming up. We got Lime Rock Park, where
Michigan I have starred.
Yeah, I know you do. Michigan, you've got starred. Lime Rock Park, I need to shave about a second and a half off, and I think then I'll be happy. Iowa's the next one that I really have circled. I've got really good pace practicing there. I just like I'm starting to get the hang of these ARCA cars. I wish it would just like translate a little better. I mean, even in the next gen, I'm doing pretty well on the ovals. I think it just
get me into the ovals in the long run, and I'm gonna feel pretty comfortable.
I'm already like, so we're what, a month and a half into racing seasons. I have 1 win and 2 other podiums, and then a 4th place finish. I'm like, I'm already doing better this year than I did all of last year. Yes.
Yeah, I got the 1 podium, and I keep getting collected in other people's junk.
Yeah.
Like when I've been able to run clean, like I get up front and I stay.
One of the funniest things that was said in our Discord this weekend, I posted some pictures and video in there, and they're like, yeah, I bet you're there going, hey, I won here. Like, my response was, yeah, I'm just here to see who can measure up to me. You know, who's up to my standard.
Indy World Series has a notification went out last night late. Looks like the Indianapolis road course is not going to be ready for us to attend.
They had a broken curb that they have to fix.
So we found an alternate venue. We will now be racing the streets of St. Petersburg.
And the very next night in the Truck Series, we'll be racing the streets of St. Petersburg.
We have a back-to-back race night at St. Pete. We got our own doubleheader going.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I got a couple of test laps in. I still have some But we released the driver schedule for the Truck Series today, and I think the feedback so far has been pretty good. The only question mark we have right now is there's no fixed setup for St. Petersburg, which I'm going to go out and test Long Beach. I also reached out to iRacing's support and just see what they think.
It's on the schedule, so there should be something coming up.
Yeah, it's got to be something. But so we will be kicking the season off with the Legacy Atlanta Quad Oval from before the Atlanta Super Speedway.
It was a fun race when we took trucks there before.
Did you realize that was 4 years ago that we did that?
And again, in that race, I got dumped by somebody else, which took my race away.
I feel like that's like the story of your
Wednesday
last night dash crew.
Year and a half, 2 years, it's what it's been. Even on Indy.
I mean, you were also the one who tried to go 3 wide at Indianapolis on the last lap.
No. I did not force it 3 wide. I was taking it 2 wide on the high side and had somebody else force it 3. Plus, it would have stuck, and I had it, but there was net code.
There was.
There was a good chunk of net code, which caught me. But I had the line that I could have held. It probably, if anything, it would have taken out all 3 front runners.
Which would have been great, because then I would have won the race.
None of the 3 of us were lifting. But I got it turned, and I would.
If you would have done that, I would have won the race. You should have sacrificed for the team.
If not for the net code, I would have been there.
So
here's our lap. I got to go for that move, and I had the run.
Yeah. I
just didn't anticipate an even better run on the bottom
middle. So we've got the Legacy Atlanta, we've got St. Petersburg, then we're going to go to Texas, then Daytona for our Super Speedway visit.
I like how the group was saying DJ's sacrificing us these first 4 weeks.
That is a risk I am willing to take.
That's a rough opening 4 races.
I love Texas, though. I think Texas.
I like racing there.
Texas is a lot of fun, but we have never done a truck race at Texas.
I did on an official once.
From the series standpoint, we've never done that. Yeah. So I'm like, we haven't been to Texas in a while. I had to get it on.
Yeah, we got to go.
May 27th will be New Hampshire, which 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, we did a truck race at New Hampshire and had one of the best finishes I've ever seen. You had that Dawson, Hunter, Colton battle that Dawson almost turned Hunter sideways on turn 1, and yet Hunter caught him and won the race. It was phenomenal. So then we got a night race at Homestead. When I'm out of town on vacation, Rockingham. That was strategic. The race I won't be at. Then our trip to Auto Club on the 24th. Then we're going to have an Iowa Speedway race on July 8th. And then we're going to close out with a night race at Kansas. Honestly, I'm happy with how this turned out. I think there's a lot of good variety here.
It's a good schedule.
I don't think there's anything overly technical. Maybe Rockingham to an extent.
For me, I would say, well, St. Pete is going to be rough.
Yeah.
But I think New Hampshire, Rockingham, I could see. Iowa could be a caution race, too.
I did some practice a couple weeks ago on Rockingham in the ARCA car. And so there's a Rockingham, and then there's Rockingham 2025 in iRacing. And 2025 is a repave. And that higher line, there's no advantage there. So that's going to get interesting, honestly. But, yep, we got the schedule. We'll make it public, official. Well, by the time this episode airs, it'll be public. And also on the broadcast, now it's not just YouTube, Twitch, Kick. It's also on TikTok. We've been quietly streaming on TikTok the last couple of weeks and getting a decent audience turnout there. I wasn't sure what to expect. It's The reason why we didn't do TikTok before was it was a very manual process to set it up and restream. And you had to like go into TikTok and start it, and then you had to go in and manually stop the stream when you were done, and you had to get this code, and it was horrible. Like, why would anyone want to do that? And they finally changed it that it just, when you hit start, it goes to everything automatically and it airs on TikTok. And the nicest part about TikTok is, from a mobile standpoint, it's really easy to clip clips, and it does there's a like make a highlight button that you can press where it guesses, and it's decent. It made some decent clips, so it's like we can actually clip some of these races now and get them posted, and we've been starting to do that. So get more content onto the social media, more features of our races. So yay TikTok.
Yeah, if you're interested, come join us. We have space in the Indy World Series and bottom split.
Yeah, we actually had to close registrations for Wednesday Night Dash. We made the decision with the competition committee that we're going to cap it, and if somebody's referred in, we're going to gatekeep a little bit now. It's just a decision that the level of competition, we started it. It was Wednesday Night Dash was kind of a developmental league, and it's not anymore. We've made that quite clear. The competition has stepped up tremendously, and now if somebody's referred in by somebody's already in the league that will personally vouch for them and say this guy or girl can handle themselves out there. Fine, we'll take the referral. Come on in. But until then, you're going to have to prove yourself through bottom split first before you can qualify into Wednesday Night Dash. And it sounds kind of snobby, but at the same point, I'm kind of excited that we have reached this moment where we've had to like stop saying we're not just going to accept anyone anymore. So, but if somebody you've raced before with us, you've sat out, you're obviously more than welcome to come back in and join us. We're not capping the league size. You come back and talk to me and say, hey, I want back in. I know there's a couple people that I've talked to privately on the side that have raced with us that are saying, hey, I think I should be back for trucks. Please come back. We definitely want you back in the series. But we're going to be gatekeeping now. The quality's getting too good, and we just need, we need you to prove yourself in bottom split. Come out and show you can handle yourself in bottom split. Okay, then we'll let you into Wednesday Night Dash. And like I said, I'm pumped.
And you'll have a good idea of kind of where you'll line up. We have a good chunk of guys that run Wednesday Night Dash that are running bottom split also, and they're running mid pack to the front at times. So you get a real good idea of how you're going to do.
Oh yeah, there's Wednesday Night Dash race winners. Like, Robert Lewis, for example, won at Kentucky, won at Las Vegas. He's really stepped it up. Garrett's won several races in bottom split. He won the Martinsville race. Actually, on a side note, did you see while we were waiting for the schedule to come out, there was some pitching some ideas, and I said, all right, let's get the bad ideas out. Let's get them out now. And then people started listing their ideas, and some of them were really, really funny.
I got a kick out of some of those.
So then, Lucas Puntarelli's like, I have the schedule, I'm going to leak it out. And all he did was take the Formula One poster and then put the Wednesday Night Dash logo on the Formula One poster. Let's see. And I said about the track, and I said, we're going to go to Nürburgring. Then somebody said, why don't we go to do the figure 8 at Slinger? Then Spa at Trucks. Then it just got silly. The Cannonball Run. And I said the Baja 1000.
I would do Baja.
And then it was said if we did Bathurst, then a truck would probably fly off the mountain. Probably true.
Should take the IndyCars over to Bathurst.
Then DJ should keep the schedule secret and announce each track 10 minutes before practice begins. And that's when I said, okay, let's get all the bad ideas out now. Let's flush them out.
That would actually be kind of fun. Not know what track you're doing until 9:20.
That Highline did that for a couple of seasons, and it was very. There are some very talented people in there that struggled with that. I'm like, no, no, we're not doing that. Then Chris Fuge comes in and says, "We bring back the competition caution and then invert the field. We turn the races into endurance events that have mandatory driver swaps during pit stops. We run the super speedway in the opposite direction." And then they said this rule only affects Connor, that if you don't wreck an FR Racing driver, you get 15 bonus points. Fair.
Come on,
I was terrified when I was battling him because he's got you the most by far, but he's got me a couple of
times. I think I'm winning that count. Was the last season it was such a running joke. It was, hey, we didn't hear sorry Erik tonight.
Or then the one time he's like, sorry, DJ. And I'm like, no, it's sorry, Erik.
Get it right.
Then I said, number 5, all races will be on iRacing Super Speedway.
Yeah, we had so much fun when I was sitting with Connor. I always like it when we get paired up on track.
Let's see. Then Colton suggested the 24 hours of Phoenix in street stocks. And then I said, okay, but only if we set the sim clock to July 4th at 12 p.m. and then put the American flag next to it. The track temperature will probably be about a 160 or so. Nürburgring and late models. And I'm like, all right, we're done here. This we're done. No, this is off the rails here.
Not to pile onto it, but we should find like the 3 slowest car classes and then pick a road course and do a 24-hour race and have our version of the 24 hours of lemons.
24 hours of mini stocks.
Like mini stocks, Legends, and the Miatas.
Do you know they have the Legends has a race on the official calendar at St. Petersburg? They have a fixed setup. Real quick before we wrap, there was also a request that Lucas said that he's going to need us to send a letter to one of his professors for an excused absence so we can do the St. Pete week. I said that would be really funny. We should make like an official letterhead.
Like done it for like big games and please excuse so and so for work for watching this.
Make an official letterhead with the logo on it. Put the business address on there.
Just make it a fillable field. Just put it up on the website. That way you can go in and put your name.
Dear Professor So-and-so, we need Lucas's team points desperately. Please excuse him from class on Wednesday night. All right.
We're not liable for any dropped classes or failures.
I mean, no, we're not. But if you want somebody with experience in that, right here.
I can help out a little bit too.
All right, so a lot covered tonight. Long show. See, you're outside again, but you dropped the sweatshirt, so it's starting to warm up a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna get cold early next week, but we've been up into the 90s now, so
it's next week. It's next week. We could break into the hundreds, which would be the earliest it's ever been in the 100s in Phoenix. Oh, by the way, Sunday at the Cup race, it got to 91.
Yeah, yesterday I think we were mid-90s, and I think we were low 90s today.
We left early because my kids were just not doing well sitting out there in the heat.
We're going to be about the same here for a bit, but the problem is you get to stay dry. I just start ramping up the humidity.
Till monsoon season.
Yeah.
Well, monsoon season's very hit and miss here lately. It seems like, uh, it'll rain for like 20 minutes and feel gross, and then
If it were to line up, what I may need to figure out how to do is if we have a hurricane unfortunately come through this year, do a podcast episode during it.
the emergency pod the hurricane hour. It's been a few years since Orlando's
Yeah,
had a
it's a little
hurricane.
windy out here. We got a hurricane moving through, but I'm still doing the podcast.
Is that Jim Cantori behind you?
Run!
They said it's never a good sign when Jim Cantori shows up in your town because something bad's about to happen weather-wise.
Yes.
On that note, thanks again for watching this week. Thanks for tuning in as always. We'll be back with 2 races next week at Dover on Tuesday night and Mexico City on Wednesday, which probably will suck for me.
Tune in, check it out. We'll see you next week. Take care.